So now that you've done your grass, there's basically two things left to do, which is your barriers and extra things in the background like trees and stuff. So for barriers, first thing you're going to do is select the line tool and then create a line where you want your barriers to be. So let's say you want your barriers to kind of go like this, and then we make this a bit curved here. So turn into a bezier, and then the barrier is you want it to kind of curve like this, and then we move this in a bit. So now that we have this line selected, now we actually have to make the barriers. So if you want to do something simple like a tire barrier, go to standard, and you can go to cylinder. Let's do the cylinder. And then basically create a small cylinder, maybe keep it like 0.5, and then have it another maybe 0.5 meters high. Something like this would be nice. You just have to play around with it, load it into the game like I said in the other one, and then use that to determine it. And then go find a tire barrier texture. Very easy to find. Just search up tire texture. If you search up something like this, you'll get a bunch of things like these and stuff. You can use most of these, but you might have to rotate them and stuff. But that's you can search up how to do that on Photoshop, the rotating and stuff. So after that, you just go find your barriers. So in this case, I have my side tire barrier. And you'll notice that obviously the texture won't be right for the top, which is fine. What you'll do is you're going to go to Edit Poly, and then you're actually just going to detach the top. You can just completely remove the top, because you don't need that. So most of the time it's just hollow through it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put shell on it. What shell does is it'll kind of give it like some space on the inside of the shape, and then you can actually make it thicker and stuff, kind of like that. And then don't worry about where the thing is right now, it won't matter too much. And then UVW map, and then for this you can just put it to maybe X is fine, and then you just kind of have to play around with it a bit. That's one way to do it. There's multiple ways of doing this, not just this. But yeah, you can also use UVW X form and then rotate it 90 degrees, and then kind of play around with it like this. Kind of doesn't really matter. Let's just keep going. So from here, what you would do is you'd press Shift and I, and then it's going to give you the spacing tool. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to press Pick Path, and then you're going to put it right here. Now you're going to take it off Count, and then put it onto spacing, and then you're just going to keep moving this down. You might have to actually type it in. Just type 1. 1's good normally. This is the spacing, and then if it's a bit too close, you can put 1.5, and then that's too far. You kind of just got to find the middle. So we'll go 1.2, and there you go. Now you have all your tires kind of lined up over here. And then make sure you press Apply after, and make sure it is on Copy. And then if you press Apply, there you go. Now you have all your stuff here. And then after you have all your stuff there, just if you rename all the cylinder things, because that's what you used to make the thing, if you rename them to wall tire, and then once you rename those, now they're tire barriers, and when you hit them, they'll actually stop you. So now that you've done your tires and you're set and you have all your tire barriers and stuff, if you just keep doing that everywhere, that'll be good. Next, if you want to add trees, my personal way of doing it is to use the plane tool, make it maybe 3 wide. And then what you're going to do is you're going to rotate it 90 degrees over here. So if you type 90, it'll rotate it. So in this case, I have the thing wrong here, so we'll put that to like 1.5. Nope. Oh no, this one goes to 1.5. And then maybe we'll make it 3 meters tall or something. Something like this. Or maybe we'll make it 3x3 kind of photo. And then if you search up tree texture online, you'll get multiple things. But in my case, I already have a bunch of tree textures, so go to textures, go to nature because that's where I have mine under, and then grab your tree. Now, when you grab your tree texture, you might have to give it an alpha channel. So if you search up how to, this is where you need Photoshop. If you want to know how to use how to do the alpha channel stuff, which is basically what I'll give it a transparent background in Kart Racing Pro, then you're gonna have to go search that up. Because in 3ds Max, it won't show the transparent background, but in Kart Racing Pro, it'll basically it won't have the screen background. It'll just show the tree. So that'll be for another time. Now that you have that done, just to make things easier, you just label it tree, and then you are going to do shell. That way it makes it a bit thicker. If you don't do shell, when you load into a game, you're only going to be able to see this tree at certain angles. I'll also put an edit poly in there, which is what I completely forgot. And then after that, what you can do from here is you can do clone, make sure it's copy, and then you're going to rotate it 90 degrees. So okay, so it's over here, so, and then rotate it 90 degrees just like this. That way it's basically a 3D view of the tree. And then once you've done that, if you press an edit poly and then you attach it, there you go. Now you have a full tree. Now to make them look good, I'd recommend using multiple tree textures and also making the sizes different. But if you want to place a bunch of trees in a line, then you can just kind of do this, but then obviously make the sizes different and change up the textures a bit. So we can kind of push this down a bit, push it up a bit, down. I'd also like to say that for fencing and stuff, it's the same thing as the tire barriers, except it's a bit different. So now I'm going to show you how to do fencing. So let's say you want to create a small fence around the entire track. There's two ways of doing this. Well, I'll just show you a very simple one, which is if you want to make like a little log fence. So from here, what you would do is you go to your cylinder. Let's grab a cylinder. So let's do this. We'll do that and that. We'll make the height 0.7 maybe, and then we'll make this 0.2. We're just making a nice simple fence, and then after that we're going to put a texture on it quickly. Texture, let's say we want to put like a small wooden texture on it. Then what we'd do is we'd grab a wooden texture, kind of make it look like this. Obviously if you want to make it look better, you can put a UVW map. Name this wall wire, and then after that, if you do shift select it, do shift I. Whoops. Make sure you don't have this selected when you go do shift I, otherwise it's going to rename it. Then you're going to do pick path, and then you select it over there. And if you're satisfied with it being like this is just one part of the fence. Maybe we'll go 1.5 and we'll do it like this. That's weird. Thought I told it to do that. Okay, whatever. We'll have to redo it. Okay. Oh, that's because I didn't press apply. Always make sure you press apply. And there you go. Now you have these here. Next thing you're going to do now is you're going to select that line there. You're going to create a copy of it, and then you're just going to drag it up ever so slightly. Maybe 0.2 meters or so. Yep, that's good. And if you go to rendering, and you put it to, and you enable both of those there, now you kind of have this part, now you actually have a wire here, so then we'll just label this TR, or wall wire. And then if you do the same thing again, create a copy of it, there's actually an easier way, you just right click and clone it, and then drag it up. Obviously you put a texture on this, obviously, so once you're done doing that, and you have your full fence around the track, you can go to textures, maybe just grab a color, like gray, or something. And there you go. You have your fencing that goes around the entire track now. So, if you're satisfied with the track now, what you're going to do is, you're going to go to the Scene Explorer here. Any of your trees and stuff, that's why I recommend labeling them tree, because then you can label them, and then if you hold down shift and then click at the bottom here, it'll highlight the range of things. So from the top of the tree that you clicked on, then scroll all the way down to the last wire, and then if you hold down shift and then click, obviously it'll highlight everything. And then after that, you're gonna do File, Export Selected, and then this will go into your export folder. And then we'll label this Point Peely. And then you're gonna save it. And that's it.